My name is Landon Dixon, and I am a trans man. When I finally gathered up the courage to, get my parents together and tell them that I was transgender, I expected them to be really upset, especially my mother, who's always talking about wanting grandchildren and having a grand wedding and going to pick out a wedding dress with me. I told her, and I expected her to be mad at me. She said, "What can I do to support you?" And then she went and started looking up stuff on the computer for LGBT people, printed out a lot of it and wanted to talk it over with me. I grew up with a lot of self-hate, trying to figure out where these feelings were coming from that a lot of other people I knew weren't having. And I stuffed that self-hate down for a long time and used a lot of alcohol and drugs and participated in a lot of risky behavior behind it. The way I overcame it was finally coming to accept myself for who I am, surrounding myself with people that supported me and were positive influences in my life. I'd been working at this job, training for about a month at a call center, and one day the manager pulled me aside and he said to me, "I need to talk to you. There's been reports that you've been using the men's restroom." And I was thinking, who's gonna report something like that? And he said, "Well, I'm gonna have to ask you to start using the women's restroom because there's some men that are uncomfortable." And I said, "Well, wouldn't it make the women uncomfortable if I've been using the men's restroom for the last month and then suddenly I'm using the women's restroom?" So they asked me to take a couple weeks off work while they figured it out. I asked them if they had a policy in place for people like me, and they said they didn't know. And when I came back to work, they said they were going to allow me to use the men's restroom, but for some reason they let me go 2 days later. I don't know, I guess that wasn't the job for me. This was in Texas. The way I overcame it was by just not letting it bother me that much. I mean, there's a million call center jobs out there. I could just go get another one the next day if I really wanted to. I started beginning to transition or toy with the idea that I might not be a lesbian, I might be transgender, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And I had a lot of friends that were in the LGBT community and just, people that weren't a part of the community but were supporters that I could talk to about it. I actually started watching a lot of YouTube videos because I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel like a lesbian. I had lesbian friends, but I didn't feel like one of them. So I started watching these YouTube videos, and one day this video came on and it kind of freaked me out. It looked like a girl talking about how they felt like a guy and how they were transitioning into a male. And I've heard about men transitioning into women, but I never heard about it, the other way around. So I started, doing certain things. Somebody said, stop shaving your legs and your armpits and start wearing male clothing. And I started doing that, and I started feeling more comfortable with myself, and I got to see, my friends around me were accepting of that. That kind of made me explore it further. I couldn't have done it without the support of the people around me. That was priceless, to have a community that loves you and supports you no matter what. Stuff always changes, and if you work together and support each other, you can help it change, for the better. And don't get discouraged by, people that are negative. Try and educate them. Maybe they don't understand what's going on and they're confused, and if you take the time and show them, that you're just like everybody else, that they will, come to accept things that they're not used to more. As a transgendered person, as a trans man, I've been asked a lot of kind of questions that I consider to be pretty rude, and I used to get mad about it, because why is this person asking me, what I have in my pants? Why are they telling me, things like, why don't you just be a lesbian? Wouldn't that be easier? And I used to get really offended by that, and my feelings would get hurt. I realized one day that, if I just take the time to explain to them without being upset, then maybe I can, teach them something that they didn't know before. I understand that you're curious, about me, but would you go up to a total stranger and ask them, if they had a penis or not? I mean, I don't know about you, but I definitely wouldn't do that. I'd be afraid of getting in a fight with somebody or something.